Maria from Portugal. Hi, how are you doing? So I don't know if all of you had a chance. Kathy, how are you, Kathy? Is this Kathy from the United States? We met in Hawaii. So I don't know if you all got a chance to download the free ebook. The free ebook was called How to Go from Irate and Overwhelmed to Grateful and Resourceful in under 3 minutes. So you might just pop a little yes. Yes, it's Kathy from, how are you, Kathy? You might just pop a little yes if you have read the ebook. If you haven't, it's really not a problem. We're just going to start from scratch anyway. And it's just good to know what you've read. I also want to clarify something, which is that I'm doing seminars for a number of years, so some of you may have come to the Connecting the Dots class or seminar, and some of you came a long time ago, longer than that, and it was called the Mahayana Method. And it's still the same seminar, actually, although there's a new branch opening, which is going to be available. It's a little bit what we'll be talking about tonight, available for organization, colleges and corporations and things, but it's basically going to be the same method. It's basically been rebranded. So all of you on the call here, whether you've been at the Mahayana Method, at the Connecting the Dots, or the latest group we had, it was in Cork, they actually did an intro on what is called today NeuroBiology Reprogramming. Very long word just to say that it's still the same method, but this is trademarked. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm going to be able to share practitioner and teacher training, so it's very, very exciting. So everybody can share this. So we'll get going because it's 8:05 over here already. And I read your surveys as well, and thank you so much for taking the time, everybody. Hi, Margaret. Everybody has such a busy life, and I really value your time. I value enormously to be able to be here with you tonight and your attendance, and I don't take it lightly that you've put all of this, you see all of this good work, this is all your surveys, and so I had a little study of it to see how I can help you better. And there was a lot of recurring subjects that you all filled in. I'll start with the beginning, which is somebody was asking the science behind mindfulness. Okay, whether it was Connecting the Dots, the Mahayana Method, or NBR, NeuroBiology Reprogramming, we're talking essentially about 3 steps. It's actually very, very simple. And the steps are basically, the first step is to be able to be as present as possible, as often as possible. Amongst the survey, a question came up. The surveys, a question came up. Some of you asked, what's the difference between mindfulness and meditation? And what's the difference between mindfulness and this IPA I'm talking about in the ebook, which is Integrated Practical Awareness? And all I have to say, to keep it very, very simple for you, is basically mindfulness is an ancient practice, as you know already. And so we live in a very different time today, and we live a very, very fast and busy life, and it's about adapting an ancient tradition to a modern day citizen, lady or gentleman as you are, into your life, whether you've got, family, dealings, whether you're at home with your children, father or mother, or whether you run an organization or have your own business or whatever. It's about being able to stay connected to yourself, and we will take questions in a minute. So you're as resourceful and as powerful as you can be, and more to the point, able to, have as little stress as possible throughout your day, so you can tap into your own potential. That's really the base of mindfulness. It's the base of the first step that I'm talking about here, which is IPA, Integrated Practical Awareness. And so the difference between mindfulness and meditation, you probably know it already, some of you. Meditation is about sitting down, taking some time, you can just practice a little bit now. If you're a practitioner, you can just take a breath as you sit there and just notice your feet on the ground in your shoes if you're wearing shoes, and just remember that you're here. You're in your own body, you're taking a breath. You can't change the breath, you can only watch it happening naturally. And that is basically mindfulness. Meditation then goes on to closing your eyes for some time and just staying there. And a lot of people don't have time for that, especially when I visit with corporates and large organizations. It came very quickly to the point that people don't have time to sit down for 20 minutes. And the other funny little thing is that I've met a lot of people throughout the years who are fantastic meditation practitioners, but then when the meditation is over, stress takes over. And so the big difference between mindfulness and meditation is, I would call mindfulness walking meditation. So you're still in a state of awareness, but you're actually going about your day. So it's very much integrated, which is why I call it integrated practical awareness. And if you have read the ebook, you'll know that you're using adversity, the things that really annoy you throughout the day, as your spiritual teacher. So it's like you're using it as an anchor to come back to yourself and take that breath and take a beat and take a moment and be able to reconnect with who you are. So I want to know from you if you have any. I see a few yeses in the box that you have read the ebook. And so I want to know if right here, right now, you have a question on this practice. Those of you who didn't read the ebook, it's absolutely no problem. You'll find it's very, very simple. It's a step that is really going to, because everybody likes to, be mindful and be peaceful when everything goes well and you're having a good day and everything. So, but most of the time it's a difficult and busy day. So it's about making use of adversity, because if you're only coming back to yourself when everything is good, you're not coming back to yourself often enough. But for most people go through a lot of stress throughout the day, and there's more stress-based, responses than peaceful and awe and beauty and things like that. So it's about using both. So it's wonderful to come back to who you are when you're having a really good time, but it's also particularly precious to have a tool to be able to reconnect with your own resources and your own power when you're having a crappy day, basically. And that step in the ebook is called BBC. You all know the BBC radio, and I wanted this to be very easily connected throughout your day. And so BBC in this ebook is body breath connection. So how do you do it? You're just reconnecting with your breath, and you're just noticing your feet in your shoes on the ground. And how do you use that? You use that every time that something bugs you. So like, say you get to the office or you get in the car and you're stuck in traffic, you could use that as your anchor to come back to yourself and to use your BBC. So what we did in the ebook, and it's an exercise you can do, you can do it later. You probably won't do it later. So how about you grab a piece of paper right now if you want, and put 3 things that really, really bug you, 3 things that annoy you. Don't look for elaborate things like, pollution on Earth right now or the economy or politics. Look for little things that you find very annoying, like red lights, or your computer doesn't load fast enough, or there's a queue at the coffee machine if you're working in an organization, or whatever it is. Take a moment to write 3 things that really bug you. So I really want to make use of this for you tonight. And don't tell me what bugs you, but tell me I want to hear from you if you've practiced the step and you want to share something or ask something. Go right ahead. And if you have already practiced it, it means you already have your anchor of the things that bug you. And so you can let me know if you have have some experience with the practice. I'm scrolling down and reading your messages here. Because I want to say something, which is that you know how bad mood is cumulative. How a bad mood is cumulative. So you know, you get out on the wrong side of the bed, and then you step into a cup of coffee from last night, and then step on the cat, and then, you know, it tumbles off into a horrible day. I want to say to you that when you're willing to use this practice, it sounds incredibly simple. When you're willing to use this practice, good mood and being able to come back to yourself just like this is also cumulative. And so if you do it enough times, what you're going to have is a new habit, formed in your neurobiology, which is in your nervous system linked to your physical body and your thought forms. And that's all going to connect into you having, the minute something bugs you, what do? You use your BBC. So you've got your in-breath, coming back to your feet, and you can say, yeah, but Mariana, there's somebody talking to me and they're driving me crazy. Doesn't matter. For now, you're coming back to who you are, reconnecting with your own source of power, because you're going to find that when you do that, you're speaking very differently. You're not reacting the same way. And you have this resource in the way of, you know, a better response, more action, less reaction, more, you know, innovation, more creative ability. You can tap into your superior mind the minute you reconnect with yourself more often. Obviously, it takes training, and it just changes everything. And even if you say the same thing, you know, even if you have the same words come out of your mouth, the frequency and the energy of what you're saying is going to be very different. So you're all very quiet here. Are you still on board? I don't know if you're on board unless I hear from you in the chat box. So let me know how you're getting on. And also, I want to say that for we're going to have another webinar where we will do the full course. I want to say that I'm going to use a different technology, a technology where you can be on the screen as well. And you can actually, good, Thomas, brilliant. You've written your 3 things. Thank you for letting me know. It's going to be a different technology where you can actually be seen on the screen with me if you want, and you can also communicate directly. So this is, you know, it's going to be much better, just to let you know. So we're still in step 1. So that was one of the things, that was one of the questions that you asked, is the difference between mindfulness and meditation. And really, you know, it's really, if you want to do both, Margaret, I'm here. Brilliant, Margaret. If you want to meditate and use your BBC, it's wonderful. But if you're going to say to me, Mariana, I can only do one of the two, I can only propose that you actually pick being aware throughout your day, doing this IPA. You're having a cup of tea, that sounds good. So you want to use this throughout the day. Why? Because you have far more many hours, you know, where you're not meditating than so at work, in traffic, while you talk to your kids, your spouse, while you're interacting with people, then you could spend meditating. So if you're managing to integrate this very, very simple step, we're not going to go too much more in anything else as far as steps go tonight. I will give you an overview of everything else we cover, but for now, I guarantee you that if you're willing to practice this, I give you 3 days to have quite a turnaround and far less irritation, far less depression, far less, you know, falling into a gap where you just don't feel you have direction and things like that. So you are incredibly resourceful and you are incredibly powerful, but usually we listen to the thoughts and we believe every thought we think. And that sets a chain reaction, which is an emotion, and that pulls us down in our physical body. So I have a little drawing that I'll show you in a minute. The other thing that I want to share with you from your topics, because I really want to answer what you asked directly into the surveys, and you know, you're talking about connecting. Somebody here is talking about an ability to connect back with your true self. And it's really going to be, I want to show you a little drawing. Bear with me because I think there's a 5-second delay when I want to show you something. So let me see if, and when I show this screen share, everybody is going to